Allow myself to introduce myself. Name that movie. Allow myself to introduce myself.
That is Austin Powers.
Correct. This is not going well at all.
On that note, welcome back, everybody, to the Mo and O Show here on the Mo and O stage. So this is our podcast that we're trying to do. This is part 2 of our part 1.
This is officially episode 1 because the last one was a pilot that we were practicing.
But we put it out there like bosses.
Yeah, you know, part of it is like just do it. Because if you start, we would never have done anything if we were like trying to perfect everything. And It was kind of like hot, sweaty studio, subpar equipment. But I thought it turned out okay.
You know what? It was a good time. It was fun. I watched it with very little cringing. You know?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's what's important. If you go watch something that you've done and you're like I'm not too ashamed of that, then you know you've done okay. So, what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about street photography. I think that's a conversation that many people...
It's very popular.
I get so many questions like, hey, Mo, what do you do? Do you just shove your camera in people's faces and then run away?
Yeah.
Do you ask them what you should do? And I say, listen, it's...
Wait, before you tell us your philosophy, let's go over, maybe some people don't know, because I Instagrammed hashtag street photography to do some photo critiques, and not everyone knows what street photography is.
Okay, so to me, street photography normally involves an urban environment, okay? I mean, if you don't live where there is an urban environment and to you street photography is 2 horses and a goat, then that's what you have.
That's called road photography. Yeah,
you have to actually have pavement to make it a street.
Yes, so it's pavement is the key thing, but it definitely has to be a scene. It has to be urban, yeah, or in some kind of city for the most part.
Right.
And it originated early on as capturing moments. You know, it's for history.
Right. Like some people will take a picture of 18 people walking away from them and you can't figure out what just happened. Why are these people walking away? I think if you're going to do street photography, like Omar said, you want to point in a story to it. You want to be able to look at the picture and say, wow, that guy looked cool smoking that cigarette there and that, you know, the light hit him just right. I need to take that picture.
For sure. Or like a mom like fixing a kid, like tying a kid's shoe and all the stuff you think about in street photography is... the people are interesting. The lighting is interesting. Because when I hashtagged street photography, it was basically people were doing portraits, like, you know, senior portraits on the street, right, or their family on the street. But that's not what traditional street photography.
Which one of your XT20 videos did you
the Fuji XT20?
Did you have a picture of some guys working on a street, like
the Hoboken shot? Yeah, that was by Carlos Bakery.
That was a really, like, to me, like, here, just thinking about street photography, that just jumps into my head. That picture you took of a couple guys working on something, and you could see that's what was going on. There's people who were actually working on something.
You think about, you know, what they're working on. You start to, like, you can kind of dive into the picture a little bit. Yeah. So when Mo was talking about the philosophies, so what are the different philosophies that people have?
Again, the sneak attack, which is you can, you know, if there's two versions of the sneak attack. It's the anywhere from 35 to 85 range, where you're close enough yet far enough that they won't see what you're actually doing, so you could take the picture. And
it's
then
so funny. On when I was talking lenses, one guy was like, "I use a 400 millimeter lens to shoot from my living room."
Yes, I never leave my house.
That's one philosophy. If you're super nervous,
so those are good for you know, if you want to be really up close and get a sense of what's going on. But then also there's people who will shoot from across the street with a 70-200. So those are 2 types of stealthy ones. You want to anywhere between 35,
like a mid range, like someone, yeah,
35 through 85, and then if you want to go zoom, you know, 70-200. It's a great.
We'll call it the super shy, yeah, across the street. Oh, by the way, those of you that are listening to this in the audio format, we have a YouTube channel. So any kind of physical things we do, we apologize for. But we're also videotaping this, so you can just look up the Mo and O Show, and you could see all our goodness.
Of course, wait till after breakfast so that our faces do not ruin your
especially
breakfast.
This face. Maybe you guys can let us know in the YouTube comments. What do you think? What's your philosophy on your street photography? Are you stealthy across the street, 70-200? That's very good for someone starting out or shy. Are you the mid-range, which we'll talk more about? Are you jump out in front of someone? So let us know your philosophies.
All right, so listen, I mean, if you're at the point now where you're starting and you're doing street photography, and you want some ideas, and you're rocking your kit lens, you have the 18 to 55, put it at about 28 to 35, right? And then get a sense of
Like lock it. Like yeah.
lock it. They have those bands that you actually lock, they wrap it around your. I keep bumping this.
It's okay.
That you wrap it around your lens so it doesn't rotate back and forth.
Cool.
I can't remember what it's called. So it just holds it in place.
It's called the Lens Locky Poo.
Yes, official trademark.
LensLockyPoo.com.
Don't put the hashtag.
This episode is sponsored by LensLockyPoo.com.
Do you have a lens? Do you need Lensy Poo?
Remember we used to do commercials?
Yes.
We were kids when video cameras first came out.
Is there any way you could put that on there? No, never mind.
I have it. I have it on VHS.
And Nestle Quick would be
I need to
inappropriate.
digital. Yeah. So in future episodes, if we grow a little bit, we will show you our kid home movies that we did.
Okay. So lock it at 28 to 35 and just shoot with that for a while. And then, Omar mentioned before about the Nifty 50, very cheap, affordable first prime lens that you can get. And then my first prime lens was the 35.
Yeah.
It was 35 1.8 AF-S.
Oh, God, Nikon with their... I can't figure out what Nikon lenses fit what.
So, and it was such a wonderful, wonderful lens. The very first photo I took of it was of my friend drinking coffee. George was drinking coffee.
Yeah.
And when I saw the
bokeh?
bokeh butter back there,
Bokeh!
I'm like, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And
that was me with the Nifty 50. I'll put the picture up here. It was a picture of my kid. And when the background was blurry, I was like, that's how they do it.
The magic is there.
Oh, my God. The kit lens is such crap.
I can't rub my beard on the microphone. Omar put this beard
I put a
blocker.
beard protector on there. This episode is brought to you by beardprotector.com. Protect your microphones from gross beards.
That's not funny. That's not funny. That's quite hurtful. So I don't consider anything wider than 35 street photography. Me. Because I think that's just, you've just gone into landscaping,
Okay.
You're actually mowing the lawn and everything. But I think the perfect street photography comfort level is anywhere between a 35 and an 85. And that's a wide range, but it's all dependent on the person.
Yeah.
You want to get a nice close-up shot and still be at a safe distance, 85 is going to help you. You want to get a natural, neutral view, 50s. You want to get a little wider, tell a little story about why this person's here, you go 35s.
Yeah, and by the way, these are not hard, fast rules. Like someone could be a wide, and that's cool to step outside of the comfort zone. Someone could be a wide, super wide street photographer.
You can have a 24 to 70 on your camera.
Yeah.
And then you could just do all three at once without having to...
I think a lot of street photographers are purists, though. They will pick a prime, and then there's consistency in the work. Let's talk about that real quick. Zoom versus prime for street.
But that's the whole thing. Like you as a newbie will automatically have a kit lens, right? So you'll have an 18 to 55 or something like that. So you going out there to adventure, you're going to be in that whole zoom.
I like that. And then you can go back and see which focal length you were really killing it or that you loved.
Right, like I love the way this looked. Look at your metadata, and then you can see hey, look at that. I was at 34, 28 the whole time, so maybe this is my niche right here. This is what I like.
Do you know where you are? Like if you're walking around?
50 to 85. I bought a 35 lens when I first started back with my Nikon D5000, and I loved it. But a 35 millimeter lens on the 1.5 sensor was a 50.
That's right. It was a 50. Yeah.
So I think that,
so you like that 50? Yeah.
So I'm in 50 to 85 when I go and 50 when I go out to the street and I have no idea what I want to capture, but I just want to get some stuff. And when I want to challenge myself, 85, because
85's tough for street.
You're locked in, and it has to be in that zone. It's like you're a hitter, ninth inning with 2 strikes. You have to zone in on the pitch you want, or else you gotta let everything else go.
Well, I went the other way. So I was a 50, walk around with the nifty 50 plastic lens on my Canon, and I had a full frame early. Like I had a Rebel to start off with, and I did get the 50 millimeter, but that was 85, and I felt with the crop 1.5. Having an 85 crop was tough for street the way I wanted to do it.
Right.
So the way I usually do street is if I'm walking along, I kind of like some sort of background to the story. So I felt the 85 was just too portraity. Like it was just capturing the people and not the bodega in the
Right.
background. You know what I mean? With the signs. And so what I did was when I got my full frame, I thought the 50 would be great. And it was at first. I was shooting street with 50. We'll put some photos up here so if you're on the YouTube channel, you can see some 50 millimeter. That's more work. Should I do that?
No. They're not worth it. No.
No. We'll put some pictures up. So, but then, like the last few years, I've been loving the 35 because I find it more challenging. It's actually harder to shoot street photography for me with a 35 than it is with a 50.
You know what I just bought?
What'd you get?
I just bought a 28 millimeter, and I haven't
Prime?
used it yet. Yeah, I haven't used it yet. It was very cheap, and I said, you know what? I'll buy it and let me take it out. But I haven't taken it out yet. I mean, because I sold 50, 85 that I thought, let me try something different. And I think for the next show, I'll have some pictures.
Let's do it. We'll go out, man.
Try that 28. See how it feels.
It's hard because you have to be close to your subject if you have people for the street
That's
photography. And
so
there's where we get back to our philosophy conversation.
And this is not the kind of person that you want walking up to you with a camera and you feel safe in the streets.
Have you ever approached anyone in the camera? Can I take your picture?
Yes, I have. Sometimes they just keep walking, like I've not even said a word to them. And sometimes they'll stop and take, and I'm like, no, I need you to be doing what you were doing. I don't want you posing for me because I don't.
What do you say? Are you like, do you mind?
No, that's what it is. You're like, hey, I love the way you look smoking that cigarette. Do you mind if I take a quick picture?
Yeah.
And they'll just, mostly it's dudes and they don't give it, they'll keep smoking a cigarette and they're like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So start out with the 28, the 35, as long as you have the kit lens. And then some kits you buy come with two lenses. They come with the 18 to 55
and then like the 55 to 200 thing. Yeah.
So if you want to get some good compression, while it won't be as good as the 70-200, you'll still get good compression when you put it at 200 with that kit lens. Omar, why don't you tell the new people what compression is?
The new people. Compression is where the background comes a little closer into the photograph. So wide lenses will shoot your background really far away. But if the Empire State Building's really far and there's a person close to you, you can actually get those two close to one another by using a longer focal length, like 200. You just have to back up really far away from your subject and then use that 200 and the building comes right into the picture. If you use an 18, the building's going to be really far away. So,
warning: when backing up, watch out for cars.
I've gone from Canon shooting with like the kit lens to having the prime lens walking for street, and now I'm trying to go more stealthy. So the Fuji X100 series and the Fuji X-T20 with the 27 millimeter f2.8.
That pancake one?
The pancake one, very pocketable. That to me has been the most fun. And so now my philosophy is to look for moments and not bother anyone. That's my main philosophy is if I sort of anticipate a moment, I'm walking down the street and I see, I'll put the picture up here, but I saw two guys with like lock bolt cutters and I'm like, what are they doing? And I sort of like stealthily came up behind them and then used my flippy flip screen and got very low and got a shot of them cutting like a suitcase.
Which is that a trademark phrase, flippy flippy?
That is my flippy flip screen. But why were they cutting a suit? It became compelling, the picture to me. Like, why are they cutting the suitcase? Whose suitcase is it? These are two workmen. Is it their suitcase? It looks like why is it locked?
I don't know.
Who locks a suitcase on the street?
So, I mean, to your point, I think I tend to enjoy, like, while a guy posing on the street or a woman posing on the street, yeah, that can be a nice picture, but it's not interesting.
What do you mean posing on the street?
So if you say, "Hey, can I take your picture?"
Oh, got it.
And they stop and take the picture, it's gonna be a nice picture.
Yeah.
And then you can tell a story like we mentioned before, Brandon does.
Brandon Stanton, yeah.
I mean,
he's from Humans of New York.
So if you could tell a story with that portrait, it's gonna drive me. It's gonna pull me right in. But if you take a regular "this is happening right now" photo on the street,
yeah,
you got me. I'm trying to figure out everything in that photo.
That's a great point. Do you know Monaris on Instagram?
Yes.
Liar. Always say yes.
He drives a nice car.
It's a woman, first of all. Sexist.
He knows that.
Yeah. So I'll put pictures up here. If you're on the YouTube channel, you can see she rocks her. She's a Sony shooter. I love Sony, by the way.
Yeah.
I love messing with them. But
I can't afford them.
She captures beautiful, compelling moments like that, like what's happening in the scene. She captures people that look sad, like looking down. She shoots through windows, like great Instagram feed. We'll link her up.
Do know her.
You know her.
Yes. Now that you're telling these things, I do know her.
Yeah.
New
York. And
there's one where she has a picture of someone drinking coffee on the other side of the glass, and it's like so emotional. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why is she so emotional?
Great tones. She uses great tones. So anyway, we'll link her up, and she's the perfect example of capturing moments, and she's probably not bothering anyone. And so my main philosophy is that. Where do you stand? Stealthy versus ask? It seems like you could do either.
I do either because, like I said, there's some times where I see someone doing something and there's no way I can get that shot unless I say, hey,
I can't.
I'm going to stand right here with this camera all in your grill.
I only ask if it's like let's say a street musician who looks interesting. I feel comfortable saying, because they're performing, I'll give them, like I'll throw some, like a quarter in there.
I own you.
You're mine.
That's a whole quarter, son.
Son, that's 5 pictures right there, yo. I give $1. I'm just joking. But I feel I feel comfortable doing that. But going up to someone, I just can't. And it's funny, I'm so outgoing, and if I'm shooting an event or something, I can go up to anyone if I'm shooting an event. But like the street,
you don't know
I've been programmed to stay away, don't bother. There's tons of street photography on trains. Like if I'm on a train, I don't have my camera out. I can't.
I don't feel safe with my camera out. I mean, not my big camera, no. I mean, not in.
What do you mean safe? Like you'll be mugged? Or?
Yes. Yeah, I don't care how big I look. I mean, someone hits you over the head, they hit you over the head. So.
Yeah. I was. We were in San Francisco, and I saw a young girl with a camera, and she asked a homeless man on the corner with a sign, "Can I take your picture?" And he shrugged his shoulders. He was like, "Rrr." That in my mind, that's what he sounded like.
That's official.
What I'm trying to say, what I can't get out. What I'm trying to get out is that I hate when people take pictures of homeless people
because they're not looking. They're laying down. It's such an easy, cheap shot.
Cheap shot, perfectly well said.
Cheap shot, and I think that's not that's street photography by definition. While do something different, challenge yourself. I think
it's like homeless person on the ground, picture, black and white it, Instagram it. Do you think that's cool?
Cheap, cliche.
Yeah.
So can we get another C word?
Whoa.
Hey, no, easy. That's not what I meant.
I would give them money. Would you give them money for their time?
Well, first of all, yes. I mean, most of them, if you're in New York, they're going to ask you for money if you take the picture. Yeah. But definitely, if they didn't ask me for money, I'd give them a sandwich or something. I like sandwiches.
What are you, Joey?
Hey, speaking of, Omar, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Origin story. Well, this is episode 1. We'll wrap it up now. We want to keep the episodes kind of quick. There's so many things that are competing for everyone's attention that really, we want to keep these to 20, 30 minutes and move on. But why are we doing this podcast? Well, first of all, I started on YouTube last year and have been enjoying like crazy, just creating, doing things. And you've been creating.
Right. I'm on Instagram. I do a daily motivational type of thing.
Whatever comes up to your mind.
Yeah. I spend a lot of every morning. I drink coffee. I read quotes. I read quotes to get motivated because obviously we covered in the pilot. I have MS, and there's certain days that you need an extra kick in the tuchus to get going. So I find that reading motivational quotes are a great way to do that. And then I take those quotes and I translate them onto Instagram into a quick 1-minute recap of what that tells me and what I think you should take out of it. And then sometimes if the quote is so good, I'll say the quote, drop the mic, and tell you to marinate on it.
Would you edit those later, or do you?
No. 9 out of 10 times they're just
raw. That's
awesome. First shot. Sometimes if I want to add some titles or stuff like that, then I'll edit it, but not the content because I've got it down to.
I love
63 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So I have to sometimes trim it back down because Instagram cuts you off at 1 minute. So.
Yeah. So Mo was creating and I was creating, and we've been friends since grammar school, since 4th grade. And
my mother knew his mother.
Totally. So, and we kind of have a connection. We're very similar people, and so we love hanging out. So that it sort of married into, hey, you're creating over here, I'm creating over here. and we hang out anyway.
Right.
Let's do something. Let's do something together. So we don't know where this is going
He
to go.
didn't like my original "Let's eat pizza," do things something together, but it
Eat
worked
pizza
out.
on camera,
I
like-
love pizza.
Do you know it's been figured out that genetically some people are annoyed by mouth sounds?
Yes. I used to sit next to someone at Panasonic when I worked at Panasonic. I used to sit there. This young lady would just want me to die when I was eating celery and peanut butter. She would literally want me to die.
I am that guy. Now, I'm not the celery eater. I'm the one that wants you to die.
Yeah.
Like it's genetically if I hear like,
So she would hear, and she's like, "Really, really, do you have to? Do you have to?" So, where can I find this podcast, Omar?
and I'm using the Anchor app for now. It's a super easy. We're not sponsored by Anchor.com, but we are sponsored by.
Bad Breath Anonymous. If your breath stank, come find us.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Bye. Nunca.
Aquí tu radio emisora favorita.
We are going to do these episodes in Spanish as well. Let's start over.
Hola. Eso es Omar.
Super salsa.
Tu emisora favorita aquí, Radio
Go!